won the Tuesday night ratings battle between AEW and WWE, but first, CM Punk is not in talks to return to WWE. The past several weeks have been filled with rumors and speculation regarding the future of CM Punk, with multiple names in WWE seemingly teasing his impending return to the company, whilst at the same time, current AEW star Dax Harwood would file to trademark the term CMFTR, the name used by the trio of FTR and CM Punk, with all that combined sending mixed messages over what the future could hold for the free agent. Following a recent report from Dave Meltzer in the Wrestling Observer newsletter that noted WWE and Punk were in talks over a return, as well as another from BWE that claimed a contract had already been signed, we now have a fresh report coming from Fightful Select that seemingly debunks both theories after they shared what they've been told about the situation. It should be noted that this information was shared to the outlet unprompted by a WWE higher-up, with them adding that the source is not in the business of working the media, adding that this would not be productive for either side. On top of this, if this were a work to keep any potential appearance a surprise, this source would simply not reach out or respond to questions. So with that said, Fightful Select had revealed that they had discussions with WWE sources who clarified that rumors of CM Punk's signing with WWE are not accurate. Furthermore, they emphasized that as of now, WWE had not engaged in any talks with CM Punk regarding a potential comeback. The source added that this information is being shared as to temper expectations for the upcoming Survivor Series event in Chicago, as to not leave fans disappointed when he doesn't show up in front of his hometown crowd. Amidst the recent rumors, multiple top WWE talents have sought clarification on the situation from higher-ups, and they were informed that at present, CM Punk's return is not on the cards. Fightful did reiterate that due to the nature of wrestling, things could always change between now and Survivor Series. Regarding alleged teases or hints about CM Punk's WWE return on screen, a higher-up in WWE, including prominent talents, shared the belief that many of these teasers were probably impromptu acts by individual wrestlers, and possibly even attempts to provoke CM Punk. In my opinion, it could also be the case of talent working themselves into a position to have an angle were he to return. However, this is all down to your own interpretation. Fightful Select would later release a Q&A thread to clear up any questions that subscribers had regarding the matter, and here's some interesting tidbits from that. It is currently unknown if a non-compete clause is in place following CM Punk's All Elite termination, which could be what he was referring to during his recent appearance as a commentator for CFFC, where he said that he has a couple months free. Fightful would then note that if a non-compete clause was in place, this could be the reason that official discussions have yet to open up. In terms of gut feeling as to what Punk's future holds, Fightful feel that there is a 10% chance of an AEW return, 20% chance of a WWE return, and of all the promotions that he could join were neither of those to happen, New Japan Pro-Wrestling is the most likely. With that said, out of the possibility of a WWE return, AEW return, and neither happening, Fightful feel that a WWE return is more likely than neither happening at all. Regarding CM Punk being revealed as the one under the devil mask in AEW, Fightful feel that there is zero chance whatsoever of this being the case. They also feel that there's no chance of the CMFTR trademark being AEW related. In that regard, they would confirm that FTR are free to work independence and New Japan dates alongside CM Punk. So with all that said, it could well be the case of a non-compete clause being in place that has prevented WWE talks from happening at this point, and negotiations could always start in the future, although for now, a WWE return for CM Punk is not in the works. And next, new champions have been crowned in AEW. Before we get to the results of the ratings between AEW Dynamite and NXT, let's take a look at the highlights for each show, starting with last night's Title Tuesday special of All Elite Wrestling's TBS show. Orange Cassidy managed to reclaim the AEW International Championship with him securing a victory against Rey Fenix, this with the use of a crucifix. The victory ended Phoenix's 21-day reign as champion, run, which begun when he won the title from Jon Moxley at AEW Dynamite Grand Slam, where a concussion led to an impromptu change of plans. Notably, Moxley had previously won the championship at the AEW All Out pay-per-view in September, where he bested Orange Cassidy and was originally in line to take on Phoenix himself last night, although he was unable to get cleared in time, with Freshly Squeezed taking his place. With this recent win, Cassidy can now claim to be the first ever two-time AEW International Champion. On the women's side of the roster, Hikaru Shida is back at the top of the division, as she won back the AEW Women's World Championship once more last night, this after dropping Saraya with a Falcon Arrow, with her being able to secure the pinfall. This brings an end to Saraya's short run with the title that started at AEW All in London in her home country of England, this just 45 days ago. During her reign, she was only able to defend the title once. Shida is now a three-time AEW Women's World Champ, which is now a company record. In other title-related news, Bryan Danielson would overcome the challenge of fellow Washington native Swerve Strickland in the show's opening matchup, with the American Dragon earning himself a shot at Christian Cage's AEW TNT Championship, with the match set to go down this coming Saturday night on Collision. Whilst not directly related to a title, the main event of the show would see Adam Copeland make his in-ring debut for AEW, with him taking on Luchasaurus in singles action amidst a rivalry between Copeland and former tag team partner Christian Cage. Despite repeated attempts from the current TNT champion to stop his old friend from winning the match, Adam would eventually put away the wrestling dinosaur with a spear, securing his first victory in AEW. Next up, a former AEW talent has spoken for the first time on WWE television. Over the past several weeks, vignettes have aired on NXT television teasing the impending debut of former AEW wrestler Brian Pillman Jr., this after the second-generation star and son of wrestling legend Brian Pillman signed for WWE earlier this summer. The video packages have shown young Brian watching clips related to his father's career, although his face was never shown in full light. With that said, that would change last night when a promo would air that saw him denounce the Pillman name, and speaking of his father, Brian Jr. would say, "My father was one of the most infamous superstars in this business. Everywhere I go, people stop to tell me, man, I loved your dad, such a trailblazer he was. It seems like everybody has such fond memories of my father. Well, you know who doesn't? Me. His own damn son. I lost him when I was just 4 years old. I don't know him." Pillman would then state that he's tried everything he can to avoid wrestling, and you'd think that being a WWE superstar would be the last thing that he'd want to do. However, he's been unable to escape it his whole life, and it's now time to inflict pain on the business that brought him so much grief, and he would conclude by saying, "But when they see this face, I don't want them to think about my dead father. I want them to think about me. I'm nobody's junior, and from this day forward, I'm going to take on the last name of the real man who raised me, the real father figure in my life, and his name was King, and now so is mine." King would then follow up on the promo on social media when he reiterated that it's time to forge his own path and said, 26 years ago, my father was buried, and tonight I buried his last name. I will no longer be known as the lost son living in his father's shadow. I will forge my own path and stop at nothing until I am the king of WWE NXT. The promo confirms rumors that Pillman Jr. will be taking on the name of Lexis King, a trademark WWE recently filed for. We knew this because Brian Pillman Jr.'s wrestling debut back in 2017 was under the name of Alex King. The first name Lexis is derived from the name of his late sister, Alexis Pillman, whilst the King surname belongs to his other sister, Skylar King, who shares a surname with her father and the man that raised Brian Jr., and the man he was referring to in the promo. But with that explanation and the promo, are you willing to accept Lexis King as Brian Pillman Jr.'s new name? Let me know in the comments down below. And next, Cody Rhodes goes head-to-head with AEW. Cody Rhodes is one of the founders of All Elite Wrestling, with him once considered the leader of the anti-WWE movement. However, following his AEW exit and return to WWE at WrestleMania 38, the American Nightmare has gone on to become the face of the other side. On last night's episode of NXT, Cody would appear on the show to make several announcements, this whilst AEW Dynamite aired on the other channel. One of the announcements would confirm the return of the Dusty Rhodes World Tag Team Classic tournament, which was of course founded in honor of his father. In addition to the tag team event, NXT is currently hosting the Women's Breakout Tournament, and once this concludes, an NXT Men's Breakout Tournament will follow, though the list of participants remains unconfirmed. Furthermore, as the guest general manager for the episode, RHODES scheduled an NXT Championship match between Ilya Dragunov and Dominic Mysterio, and to ensure fairness, LA Knight was appointed as the special guest referee, marking yet another of many main roster appearances on the night. The megastar's involvement turned out to be crucial, given interventions from the Judgment Day's Finn Balor, JD McDonough and Rhea Ripley, with the match culminating in Ilya Dragunov emerging victorious despite this interference. The Undertaker was another top star that was sent to NXT for the night in the face of competition from AEW, who made an appearance following the main event. The headline match of the evening was between two former NXT champions Carmelo Hayes and Bron Breakker, with notable figures John Cena and Paul Heyman present at ringside. After the match, which Carmelo Hayes won, Breakker confronted Hayes, asserting his dominance with the statement that there's only one badass in WWE, and shortly after, Undertaker entered the arena under his American Badass persona, emphasizing to Breakker that while he has the potential to rise to prominence in the future, he still has a long way to go. The segment concluded with The Undertaker chokeslamming Breakker in what can be considered the Rising Star's most prominent segment to date, before raising the hand of Carmelo. Next up, who won the Tuesday night ratings battle between AEW and WWE? Last night, AEW Dynamite would be moved from Wednesday to Tuesday due to a clash with the MLB playoffs during their usual time slot on TBS, with this causing the show to clash with WWE NXT. Heading into the night, there was much talk on how the ratings would compare for each show, and now the results are in. Let's start with WWE NXT then, who drew an average of 921,000 overall viewership, this with a 0.30 in the key demo. This compares to AEW Dynamite's 609,000 overall average viewership and their 0.26 key demo rating. The key demo rating means that 396,000 people tune into NXT between the age of 18 to 49, with AEW drawing 346,000 in the same age range. The ratings for NXT is without doubt the highest of the year, with their strategy of packing the show with main roster talents and legends clearly paying off on the night, although they will do well to maintain this number going forward. With that said, hitting their highest numbers in quite some time, this whilst going head to head with another wrestling show, is impressive in itself. It was fun to see some serious head to head competition in the wrestling space once again, although this does show that AEW still has some work to do to match the star power that WWE possesses in its back pocket. And before you go, make sure you check out what's next for the WWE releases of September 2023.